All right. So I am so excited to bring our guest today, Dave Grossman, who I've followed for quite a while and actually got to meet a couple of weeks ago in Vegas, right?
Yeah,
Um,
that was great.
yeah. He does a lot of things with credit card points, credit card miles. I think you're best known for your merry-go-round, right? Maybe.
I would
Uh,
say so, yeah.
yeah, and I think that's going to be perfect for our audience because we do a lot of gambling on our channel, but we're not primarily gambling. A lot of people don't gamble to the level to where they can
Right.
get those statuses right, and that's what you're going to help us do today.
Yeah,
So,
quick sidebar, that's actually the genesis of this whole merry-go-round thing, which has morphed into and the reason we'll get into how much it's changing and how many roadblocks keep getting thrown up is because there are so many people that actually don't gamble at all and try and get on the merry-go-round to get the perks, and the casinos have caught on to that. But when I conceived the merry-go-round, it's because I do gamble, but I don't gamble enough. Like, I don't even gamble enough to get second tier status. One time I got Pearl with MGM through, I was with a huge group and was able to pick up the tab and put it on
yeah,
but I mean, to ever get MGM Gold or ever get Caesar's Diamond I'm just not a good enough gambler. I would have lost all my money trying to even get those statuses.
right.
Um,
And we say
so
never chase that, right? When you're gambling.
no,
So,
and you should. Honestly, like I know there are some gamblers that are advantage players and stuff like that. But when you look at, like, I follow the MGM group on Facebook, the
same.
Fanatics, and it blows my mind when people talk about, I've spent, you know, $500,000. I lost $100,000, but I made platinum. And I'm like,
Right.
okay, like, you're never going to get 100,000 back on your free rooms and your free, food and beverage and all
Right.
that. So if you're a big gambler, it's great to get the status, but to chase that status organically is a losing proposition. And so the merry-go-round came about as, like, I discovered, oh, if I do this and I do that, I can get these mid-tier statuses, which, they don't get you, well, now they do get you some tremendous perks, but for the most
Yeah.
part at the time, it was just, you know, when this was all conceived, it was kind of when Ocean and Hard Rock had just opened in Atlantic City, right? And this is so you could match Wyndham status. And so you could match any hotel to Wyndham, and then you could match Wyndham to Caesars. And then you were also able to interchange Hyatt and MGM. So you were kind of very easily able to create this merry-go-round. And at the time, I just thought it was so cool because I got free parking, I got no resort fees. Um, at Hard Rock, that first year they were open, you got beach priority access, priority chairs. Um, and, in Ocean, you got access to, it was a different lounge at the time. It was in the front of Ocean. And so this was before free cruises and all the stuff we're going to talk about. But it was really just me kind of hacking the system so that I could get some perks without high rolling.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. And so, I've never been to Atlantic City still. So, I'm excited. Well, I've been, but not ever like as a
Yeah.
gambling, I guess I'll say. So I'm excited to learn about that. And I think that, that's most of our viewers is they gamble a little bit, but they're not going to be
Hmm.
high rollers, for the most part.
So we're the same.
Yeah, yeah. So you're going to be the same, so you can speak to them from that. And then that also is going to be helpful when we come back and do some credit card stuff because that is a game you can win at, I
Oh,
believe.
for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as long as you
absolutely.
pay those credit cards off, that's a game that you can win. So I think there's a lot of good time that needs to be spent learning more of that, and we're going to come back and do another video on that. So tell us, how long have you been doing this?
Well, I've been doing miles, points, and credit cards for almost 20 years. The merry-go-round started about 7 years ago.
Okay,
So,
okay,
and I started Miles Talk. I started Miles Talk in 2016, and it was kind of a resurgence. I had been doing miles and points stuff in the early 2000s. I had an online travel agency called Hotel Magician, and I wrote a lot about credit cards on that site.
oh,
And it was
interesting.
actually, yeah. And as it turned out, the only way that the site made money was selling credit cards. And then things changed with credit cards where you needed a certain amount of volume in order to have the links. And then everyone that wasn't huge lost the links. So then the site wasn't making any money. I shut that down. I kind of took a hiatus from travel. And
Oh,
fun little story in 2016. I got approached by Southwest to do a Miles and Points meetup. I cannot for the life of me remember how we got connected. This was obviously 2016. The points guy existed, but there wasn't like the when you look at now the Miles and Points scape of influencers and every blog everything, right? There were very few, right? There
Right.
was the points guy, there was Gary Leff at View from the Wing, there was 1 Mile at a Time. There wasn't that many.
Yeah.
And so they found me and they're like, hey, would you do this meetup on Miles and Points? And it was so successful that they asked me to come back the next year and do like a full on seminar. And so after that first year, people were just like, why don't you have a blog? We'd love to interact with you. And yeah, I kind of just started Miles Talk as a hobby and then it grew into a
Huge.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's great. And this is now what I do for a living. And it's the best thing I could have ever imagined career wise. So
So
that's a little bit of backstory.
we're so new to this in so many ways. I'm such a newbie as a newer channel, but we have so much in common. And because our channel focuses on traveling, how to travel for free. I mean, that's part of it, along with the
Totally.
gambling. This is going to fit in so well. So I'm so excited about that. So do you have a favorite casino property that you like to visit?
Um, Borgata in Atlantic
Borgata.
City.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's even close. And I think it's for a couple of reasons. A, I think it's got a great vibe. I've been going there since it opened pretty much. So kind of dating myself a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's just it's a wonderful property that despite, a couple decades now, it is not it doesn't feel aged at all. And when I was younger, I'd go to the nightclubs there. I think they've got good food there. And then the Amphora Lounge is spectacular, which since the merry-go-round I've been able to go to. Um, and as things evolve, if I'm ever, well, I think it's inevitable that there will be a point that I don't have at least gold status, and it will be very sad to go there and not be able to go to the Amphora Lounge. But that the Amphora, for anyone that doesn't know, I mean, the Amphora Lounge, it's like if you melded a small version of their buffet and a really cool bar with waiter waitress service.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great. There you can sit at the bar or you can sit at a table. They'll serve you drinks at the table, obviously unlimited. And then there's also a small buffet. So you can really just park yourself there for a couple hours with a friend and, you know, get obliterated and well fed and then go hit the tables, which is,
Wow.
the best way to gamble is when you can't think straight. So,
Right. Exactly. That's right. When you don't realize how much you're losing until the next day, right? Well, I
right.
have to check that one out for sure. Hopefully 2025 we make it to Atlantic City. So where are you based out of?
So I live in Southwest Connecticut, and the company is based out of Manhattan. I'm in my office right now by Grand Central Station.
Okay. So you're really close then to New York. You're pretty much New York. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. We're a few
Yeah.
minutes from the border.
Yeah. Very cool. Okay.
We're New
Well,
Yorkers. We just moved out there when we had our son.
oh, nice. That's nice. Yeah. Good to be in a suburb, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
We're both city folk for, my wife born and raised and always lived in the city and I've lived in the city for over 25 years. So I think we're both happy to have space
Yeah.
and fresh air and drive the car around.
Well, we're an hour north of Houston, so we live in a small town, and I've always lived in a
Okay.
small.
Yeah.
So there, yeah. So okay, so let's talk about this merry-go-round that we've heard so much about. So, and you actually own that now, right? Tell us about that.
I do. I have a trademark. Well, Miles Talk has a trademark on the phrase status match merry-go-round. It's a registered trademark, and it's been a lot of fun. It took a year and a half to get that approved, and the only reason I did it is because when I first started doing it, it was sort of the Miles Talk hallmark. And as the years went on, everybody started talking about it, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like obviously, I can't prevent people from. I mean, the biggest downside of other bigger blogs spreading it, obviously, was that's why it's kind of gotten ruined at this point. I mean, there's still things you can do on it, but it's a shadow of its former self. So I
Right.
couldn't stop them talking about it. But what I realized is some of them were actually calling it the status match merry-go-round. And then on Google, you'd find these other articles, and it was confusing. Like, oh, like, is this just, the intention was not for it to be like a Kleenex or
Right.
so I was like, hey, I came up with this. I have proof of it, going back in time, and in the trademark office agreed. So I think the most fun thing about it has just been there's been a lot of chatter about the fact that I
Have it.
actually trademarked it. And it's more fun than anything else.
Yeah. So, but we have the official. So how do we officially use this in our title? We have to say,
It's the status match merry-go-round with an R in a circle.
okay, there you go. So we're really blessed to have you on today. So tell us about that, and we're going to come at it if you don't have any status anywhere. Is that how this starts?
Yeah, yeah. Well, so if you don't have status anywhere, um, the way things have changed now, it's going to make things pretty difficult unless you act really fast. So
Okay.
there have basically been, since a lot of changes occurred a couple of years ago, basically, long and short of it is that so Caesars was the first to really catch on. And so they prevented rematching from Wyndham. In other words, what we used to say you could do is you got your status match to Wyndham, right? Which meant you weren't going to keep it every year. It was just a match for that year, but you would match that to Caesars. And the beauty was that the Wyndham status year and the Caesar status year are off by a month. So every January you could rematch, and then February, so that to rematch your Caesars back to Wyndham, and then in February you'd rematch your Wyndham back to Caesars. And so this was a repeatable thing. And then a couple of years ago, Caesars said, "Hey, you can no longer do that. If your status to Wyndham is matched from Caesars, then you cannot match back to Caesars the next year." And
Okay.
it was mostly enforced. There were people that just took a shot at the match form, and it didn't get vetted properly. But most people got denied. And then we discovered the Barclays credit card called the Wyndham Business Earner credit card, and it's a rather obscure card, and you do need some semblance of a business, or in theory at least, you need a business. Um, it's a $95 annual fee card. It actually earns pretty well for Wyndham, but you have to like Wyndham points, which it's kind of niche, right? They do have some decent redemptions through Vacasa, but Vacasa has devalued the redemptions twice now to where they're not even that great anymore. And most of the Wyndham properties are downscale. So if that's how you travel anyway, it's actually a pretty great card. I think it earns 8 times on gas. Um, and it does come with 15,000 bonus points at renewal every year for your $95. So if you're using Wyndham points, it works out pretty well. Remember, you can transfer Wyndham points into Caesars, 60,000 points a year, but starting next year, as part of these changes that we'll talk about, they're going down to 30,000 points a year. Cool thing about that is the Wyndham points hard expire. I believe it's 4 years from the year that they're earned. You can't extend them. But if you've moved them to Caesars, then they sit at Caesars. If you were to move them back, for example, they would have a new expiry date. So that's a pretty cool hack.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, the Wyndham Business Earner card comes with Wyndham Diamond status, and
Okay.
Wyndham Diamond status.
That's what you start with
Yeah,
then.
yeah. So you get the Wyndham Business Earner credit card, and you get Diamond status with Wyndham. Now, there's also another thing called Founders Card that gives you Caesar's Diamond status. However, it's many hundreds of dollars, and my understanding is that they will be losing it for their next membership year. You're basically out of time to get it anyway. It will
Okay.
expire January, so you wouldn't even get your money's worth out of a year of Founders Card.
So don't even
Um,
think about that. So
no, I'm in right. So the
Barclays
Barclays
Wyndham
Wyndham
Business.
Business Earner.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, so a few years ago when this came out, it was discovered that they considered the credit card to be earned status. And that was a hugely important distinction because you could then rematch every year. And that's what we've been doing for the last few years is everyone's been getting the Wyndham Business Earner card. matching that over to Caesar's Diamond, and then using that for what I call in the merry-go-round onward matches, right? Where you can take that Caesar's card and bring it to other casinos. And there have still been repeatable processes. Not, you know, MGM and Hyatt broke up, unfortunately. And MGM also went from a status match that lasted a full year to a status challenge that only lasts 3 months. So MGM kind of
And then they
picked
just
our
keep
faces in
extending it.
choice. Yeah. You can do the status match again with MGM when they're offering it. So it's not for now, it's not, a one-time thing, but you never know what they'll do in the future. Anyway, between the time that we booked for me to be on your podcast and actually being on it, uh, there is another blow to the merry-go-round. Notice came out a couple of weeks ago that the Wyndham Business Earner credit card will no longer count as earned status and therefore will no longer be eligible to be matched to Caesars. Assuming this holds, which every reason to believe that it will, you will no longer be able to easily get Caesars status in any way. The only other way that you can get it is if you've never had a Caesars account and you have another casino status that's mid-tier or better, then you can do a one-time match to Caesars. And you could match that to Wyndham, but then you shouldn't be able to match that back the next year anymore. So we think Caesars has kind of fallen off the train here. If nothing changes in the foreseeable future, I think most of us are going to lose our Caesar status. And one of the things that comes with Caesar status is 4 nights free to Atlantis every year. You pay just the taxes and fees, which are around $85 right now. They've gone up a lot over the years. And although you're staying in the lowest tier tower, and so it's not a luxury experience, but you're still saving. If you do a 4 night stay, you're saving about $2,000, give or take. It's required that you play 4 hours while you're on property. They do actually track it. They'll charge you the casino rate if you check out without 4 hours of play. But that's been a great benefit over the years. And then also being able to take that Caesars card, the current match is that you can go in Atlantic City, you take the Caesars Diamond card, and you go to Hard Rock, and Hard Rock will match that to Icon. And you can bring that next door to Ocean, and Ocean will match that to their prime status. Now, we only have a few more days before there's going to be a change at Ocean. The reason everybody loves to match to Ocean and why this is such a focal point is because Ocean matches Hard Rock Icon to prime status. Their prime status is one tier, but it's basically the equivalent of MGM Platinum. It's one level below their invite only status. So it's their top tier non-invite status. And they have these travel perks that come with it, and they change from year to year. But this year, you get 2 free nights at Wynn in Las Vegas, Wynn or Encore. There's very little restriction on when you can use them. I use them during Zorkfest, and the rooms were about $800 a night.
Wow.
You don't even have to pay the resort fee. However, if you don't pay the resort fee, you will get charged, for instance, if you use Wi-Fi or anything that would be in the resort fee. So it's not just a comped resort fee, but you have the option to waive it. So you get that, and then you also get a free, I believe it's a 10-day cruise on MSC Cruise Lines. It has to be a domestic departure. Up until a few months ago, you could sail anywhere in the world except China. Now you can still sail anywhere in the world except China, but now if you're not departing a U.S. port, there's a $1,400 surcharge. Again, too many merry-go-rounders kind of ruin the fun because, it's funny. The last time I was at Atlantis, I did go this year, and when I'm in one of these places, I mean, nobody has any idea who I am in relation to this merry-go-round stuff, right? So I was in Atlantis, and I was asking about, how much have I played, make sure I hit my 4 hours, and I'm one of those people that doesn't mind hitting the 4 hours. It's fun, but some people, it's a chore. And I was like, well, what happens if I don't hit the 4 hours? And, why are you being so strict? And that's when they told me, they said that as of this year, their computer really tracks you down. If you check out and you haven't hit 3 hours and 40 minutes, so there's a 20-minute grace period. But if you're at 3 hours and 39 minutes, the computer automatically says we're charging them a casino rate. It's either $200 or $300 a night. Assuming you're leaving for the airport, you're not going to have time to make that up. And I
Right.
said, so why so strict? And they said, well, you wouldn't believe how many people take advantage of this offer and don't give us any play. And so I was like, you
Hmm.
don't say
What?
that's
I
crazy. Who
that.
would do that? Right. Um, and it's funny because I also asked about like addition, I'm like, if I keep playing, what kind of comps would I expect? And they're pretty rude there. They're just pretty much like, well, you're working off this offer first, and you're going to give us some serious play before we even talk to you. I'm like, cool, feel very welcome, and definitely want to gamble more.
Right.
So I hit my 4 hours and I was done.
You're done.
Yeah, I mean, I think they could really what they don't do very well in Atlantis is they don't do a good. So now they're forcing you to do 4 hours play. They have some idea of you as a gambler. I've never gotten any offers from them, right? And so even if I'm not a high roll, like I'm not even being sent like, hey, here's a casino rate or anything.
Like they're
I
not
don't think they're
doing a very
doing a
good
very
job on
job.
their end.
No, I think
Right.
their marketing department is not what it could be
Right.
in terms of taking advantage of this partnership. So the partnership remains, but it's going to be hard. It's going to be very hard to have Caesar's Diamond going forward. Fun fact:
What about the
if
credit
you have,
card? The Caesar's credit
yeah,
card.
so
Oh, hell.
no, no, I
No,
think you can
just
get,
only platinum.
yeah, you can get up to platinum now. One note: platinum status does get you an Atlanta stay, but it's very limited. So it changes every year, but right now, platinum will get you 4 free nights, but only 4 specific months of the year. So you got
Okay.
to check the website to see which 4 months those are. But other than that, it would be the same offers. I mean,
So
going back to say
no matter,
2017, you used to get free play and everything, but they've cut all that out.
so let me ask this question. So, because your merry-go-round starts with Caesars, right?
Yeah.
If you start with the Caesars, whether you earn that diamond status, and it doesn't have to
Mhm.
be the top diamond status, it can be the lowest, right?
No. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you earn a diamond status or even the platinum status with Caesars, or you, however you get it, credit card, however you work that out, you can still then take that Caesars over to Hard Rock, over to Ocean, over,
Mm.
right?
Only diamond.
Only diamond. So you've got to hit
Yeah.
diamond at Caesars.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
platinum from that credit card will get you the Atlanta stay, but it will not get you on the merry-go-round.
Okay. So go through it one more time. You get Caesars diamond, however you get it.
Caesar's Diamond, however you get it, you take that over to Hard Rock, match to Hard Rock. Main point of your Hard Rock match is to bring that Hard Rock icon card over to Ocean, where you'll get Prime status. That Prime status will last through the end of June. Okay. So, I can only talk about right now what you can do right now.
That's right.
One of the things that people liked about MSC is that technically you could actually get the the ocean membership year is July to June, and the win stay can only be used once per member year, July to June. But the MSC cruise, you could actually book one each calendar year. So you can match in July, book a cruise for that year, and then also book another cruise for January to June. So a
Ah,
lot of people are getting two cruises out of this. And then it's worth mentioning here before possibly we forget is another reason that cruisers have been so obsessed with the merry-go-round is that you're able to get that MSC and you've got all your status cards now, and you're able to send that into other cruise lines like Princess, like Virgin, and get more free cruises. So you don't get unlimited time to use them. You're going to fall off the merry-go-round. If you don't gamble on the cruises, you're not going to be offered more free cruises. But people have racked up 4 or 5 free cruises in one calendar,
Wow.
which is crazy to me.
I mean, that could almost
But
be a whole
great.
nother video of how to do cruises, right? Because there's a whole trick to that.
It's there's a whole trick to it that honestly goes a little bit even beyond my knowledge. I'll give a shout out. Nick at Frequent Miler has
Okay.
done a great job of sort of picking up where I left off on the cruises. My status match merry-go-round page does mention all the cruises, mentions what to do, the order, how to send it in. But he wrote like a 3,000 word article on how he literally got, I think it was 7 cruises in a year, and things have changed since he wrote that too.
Right.
But we don't actually cruise, so
Okay.
it's a
We
little
don't
hard for
either
me
too
to keep
much.
track of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but some people really love it.
Yeah.
And so that's the reason why Ocean has this place. So the thing is right now is what do you do if you're watching this now in oh, sorry, let me mention the other Ocean change. So Ocean caught on finally. Took them a while. And but they're really it's not so bad if you're so you said a lot of people on your channel do gamble some.
A little. Yeah. Most people
If
get
they
some.
if they gamble a little, this isn't such a big deal.
And then most of them
But
maybe can get to the diamond status. But
I mean,
it
that's way more than you need for this. So what Ocean did, and I'm really glad they did this. Some people are going to hate me for saying this, but I'm glad they did it because it's going to keep it alive for
yeah,
people that are willing to gamble a little, right? And yes, it is going to kill it for the people that will not gamble a dime. Honestly, the status match merry-go-round was never really intended for the people that will never gamble a dime. I'm happy they've gotten so
right,
much out of it. Happy they've gotten all the free cruises. I mean, it was a free for all. And that I mean, in the miles and points and credit card world, we're all about getting everything you can. So I don't think they did anything wrong. I think it was fair play.
right.
And good on them for everything that they've gotten. But what Ocean has said now is if you match starting December 1st, 2024 onwards, the matching remains the same. You can still get the free nights at Win. You can still get the cruises, but you have to gamble enough to earn 250 tier credits.
Which should be
Now,
pretty easy.
it's pretty easy to put it in perspective. To earn Prime status, you need 30,000 tier credits.
Wow. Wow.
And they're saying, and they're not even giving you a time frame. They're just saying you don't unlock the travel benefits until you've gambled 250 tier credits. And so a bunch of people have sort of gamed this out, and it's probably something in the neighborhood of like, you know, 3 4 hours of blackjack at a $25 bet, or maybe sitting at a dollar slot machine for 3 4 5 hours. It's not nothing, but
Right.
honestly, assuming I'm able to do another match there, and there is another piece of the Ocean matches that they will only let you match if you have been you're either a new player or you have been inactive at Ocean for 18 months. So
Okay.
literally after you match, you have to get those. So assuming you're matching now after December 1st, let's assume someone's watching this video after December 1st.
Right.
They've completed the other steps. They've somehow gotten to Hard Rock Icon and matched that over to Ocean Prime. If you have MGM Platinum, by the way, you can match that directly to Ocean Prime, but not MGM Gold.
Which a
So
lot of our
what
viewers
you
have that status.
yeah, a lot of your viewers are going to be able to, like at the end, we'll talk about, how you can
Right.
ask me questions and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Because there's a lot of different edge cases. If somebody's MGM Platinum organically, they're golden. They can get their icon status at Atlantic City from Hard Rock. They'll be able to redo that every single March,
Yes. That's next on
unless
my
that
list.
changes.
I do want to cover
Yeah,
that. It's
you're
pretty.
still you're still so Atlantic City is it's hard to talk through all this without being a little bit all over the place, but Hard Rock in Atlantic City only will match Caesar's Diamond to their icon status, which is their top non invite status, and you can rematch yearly. Every other Hard Rock in the country would only match Caesars to a level below and would not let you rematch a subsequent year. This could change in Atlantic City next year. We don't know, but right now they consider it a very competitive market. And so they do this for, trying to get you to stick with them.
Okay.
Now, so what you would do is you get your ocean match, and I would suggest that day sit down and get your 250 tier credits. Just play until you hit it. 3 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, whatever it takes you. And now, unfortunately, you have to not gamble at Ocean for another 18 months.
Which is so stupid.
I preaching to the choir on that one.
I mean, that
I
that goes against everything that I mean, it's like they're training you to not gamble there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, their intention obviously is not for you to do it every 18 months, but it's given that it's 30,000 tier credits to get it organically. Yeah, it's a kind of crazy
Yeah.
scenario, to be honest.
So
I
you're
wish they would
saying
get rid
what
of
you
that
would do
inactivity
is
thing.
get your 250, get all your perks, and then don't gamble at
For 18 months.
gamble there for 18 months and then
Yeah.
do the process
And then
again.
you'll
You're
be
gonna
able
get
to do
more
it
value.
again. You'll be able to do it again with the caveat that now we don't know. So if somebody has Caesars right now, let me give, so there might be some people in your audience watching this in late 2024 or the beginning of 2025. And so what do you do if you've got Caesars Diamond and you've got Hard Rock and you've got Ocean already because you matched it all this year and you want to try and keep your merry-go-round going a little bit longer? And I've come up with something that I think works, but it's all, let's see what happens in January. If you haven't already matched to Bally's, Bally's requires 13 months between matches. They will rematch you, but it has to be 13 months later. And they don't forbid play. Like Ocean, you can play at Bally's all you want. You only rematch every 13 months. So you take your Caesars card in January and match that to Bally's Superstar. Then your Hard Rock's going to expire at the end of February. In March, you can go and take that Bally's Superstar card and rematch to Hard Rock. Now you've got till February 2026 to do another Ocean match. And you can probably then take that Ocean Prime card back to Hard Rock the next February. So you might be able to continue things between Ocean and Hard Rock for a period of time.
Okay.
But what I think will eventually happen is you're going to run into the 18 months of inactivity thing and not be able to get an Ocean card that's valid when your Hard Rock expires.
Right,
That's
right.
when you would fall off. But I think this is probably, extendable into 2027 or so.
So let me ask
And then
this.
who knows?
So
Things
would
might change again, right?
yeah, but next week before we even get this video
Yeah,
out, right? So, so
probably.
if you hadn't done any of this and just say we're in December, right? Would you just wait till January and start this?
No, so your only option would be to get the Wyndham card now, the Wyndham Business Earner, because the change starts February 1st.
Okay.
So you'd still want to get the Wyndham Business Earner, get your Caesar status, and then you don't have to go pick up the card in December. In January, go pick up your card, even though the card's going to expire the end of January. But then you can bring that Caesar's card to Bally's, and then wait until March to get your Hard Rock card. So you've got that for a full year. And then you should be able to also match that to Ocean. So what I'm saying is you should be able to grab at least 1 year of this, even if you're starting now.
Okay. And even if you've already got your for this year, so moving into 2025, either that MGM or that diamond status, you've got it. So then you could wait till January to start it or March.
Yeah, if you've got it, remember your Caesar status is going to expire at the end of January. So that's the rub there
January
is
1st, right,
different.
though?
January 31st.
On Caesars?
Yeah. Yeah, their program year restarts February 1st.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look that one up. Go ahead.
You can look it up, but I'm sure because I've been
Know it better than me.
rematching for years.
Yeah.
Uh, um, but but yeah, so um, if somebody has the organic status, it's very different. But if you're
Oh,
just trying to
the
like jump on
organic
now for
status.
one round,
Okay. I've got the
yeah,
organic
yeah,
status, so I don't ever pay attention to the other.
right.
There you go.
So, well, I mean, it's the same status. It's just if you're earning it every year, you don't notice an expiration.
Yeah, right.
For the people that are on the merry-go-round, we notice that every February 1st we're down to gold.
Okay.
Caesars.
Gotcha. Got it.
Right. And then it's an online process to rematch. So, point is, if somebody is watching this now in December or January, they can still get that Wyndham Business Earner card, still get that match real quick. And I should point out though that Wyndham Business card through Barclays the business card can be a hassle to get. It took me about 2 months to get mine approved.
Wow.
They are known for asking for heavy documentation, sending a copy of your social security card, like all sorts of crazy stuff. And they'll do it even if you've already had cards with them, which is bonkers.
Yeah.
Um, but so one of your viewers might try this and get frustrated because they couldn't get the Barclays card actually approved before February 1st. That is a possibility.
Okay.
And sorry if that happens. I can't control their underwriting.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. So we only have a little bit of time left, and I want to make sure we hit our players for sure. So if you've got status, a higher status like MGM Platinum or
Yeah. Oh,
Diamond
you're
Elite,
so golden.
7 stars, let's talk about that. How do you work it
Yeah.
then?
If you've got 7 stars, you can match that to Hard Rock Icon. You can match that to Ocean Prime.
Okay.
If you've got MGM Platinum, you can match that to Hard Rock Icon and match that to Ocean Prime. You could actually skip the Hard Rock part. Both of those would match directly to Ocean Prime. So your people that actually do gamble and get to that level are going to continue to be good, right? Like Atlantic City is very competitive. They're going to continue to have matches. If you're a 7 stars player, you should be able to continually be able to get little 3 months out of MGM. I think 7 stars matches to platinum. So when they have a match going on, you can go and strategically get 3 months. I mean, platinum status with MGM comes with one free up to 3 night suite upgrade in Vegas every year. So you're going to be in Vegas in March and they start a promotion in January, but it's going through May. Like time it so that you're going to have your 3 months overlap that stay.
Thanks. Right.
Because they will give you that even during the trial. Thankfully, it's one of the very few things that you get. And it's worth noting if you're actually MGM Noir, then that status matches through the end of this year with Marriott Ambassador's top tier status. So if you're really, really top tier, don't sleep on that. Unfortunately, there is no match if you're Marriott Titanium and if you're MGM Platinum. The matches are so poor that it's not even worth discussing.
So
They'll
you're
like take your
don't
tier
worry
here
about,
and give you one that's like on the floor.
so don't even worry about doing platinum to the Marriott.
No,
You're better to
no,
get
you get like
credit card.
Marriott Gold or something. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it's silly.
Yeah, that is silly. Okay, so then that would work kind of both ways, whether you're 7 star or you're MGM Platinum. But that's kind of another good tip for my viewers that do gamble, because I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm really big about pick your property and play that property. If you really want to build your points,
Mm-hmm.
play, right? Don't go a little to Caesars, a little to MGM, a little Golden Nugget, a little to Hard Rock. Pick your property, get that status first, and then play around, right? So that's a good hack, I think, for those players that they actually could get a
Yeah.
7 stars or a C or actually get the 7 stars and then cross it back to that MGM or earn your MGM status and match it back to Caesars. If
Well,
Caesars doesn't match, sorry.
The thing with Caesars is they will only take a casino match one time ever for a new account. So
Oh,
probably someone who's like MGM Platinum has picked up a Caesars card in their lifetime and they will find it and they will tell you you can't match. I don't
so
know why they do that to be
that's
honest
so
either, why it's
silly.
once in a lifetime. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's even if you've had a Caesars gold and you never even got elevated status, they still will tell you that you're not eligible for a tier match because you already have a Caesars card. It's just
See,
new to Caesars only.
it's all these
And
little tricks.
it's another ridiculous thing. It's like there are so many things that you can get away with in the merry-go-round that are not good for the casinos. And the casinos do so many things that actually make it hard for real players, right? Like if I'm sitting in any of these marketing departments, I'm thinking like, why are we allowing this, which helps
Right,
the players that might not gamble with us? And why are we not allowing this? Because if somebody like for Caesars, right? So somebody was got a card one time, their MGM Platinum, you can't, you probably can match into MGM Platinum, but very difficultly.
right.
Um, and so if you have an MGM Platinum card and you walk over to Caesars and you're like, I'd like to give Caesars a try. And they're like, great, start from nothing. Have at it. Like, why would they not give you, if not 7 stars, at least like Diamond Elite or something?
Something.
It
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense, right? Like, because
So,
if you're an MGM Platinum organically, are you really going to stay to Caesars and pay resort fees? No way.
right. No, not. So really start with Caesars and match it over to MGM as long
Yeah.
as we can do that. That's a good,
Yeah.
that's, yeah.
If you can.
So let's talk about that. So if you are an MGM Platinum or a Caesar 7 star, are there any hotels that you can match to that are a benefit there?
Yeah, well, I mean, you would match to Hard Rock and you would match to Ocean in Atlantic City. And then from time to time, there's other matches. Earlier this year, Fountain Blue was matching and Win was matching. The 7 stars would have matched up to Win Black,
I can't
which
believe
is,
I missed that.
yeah. And it's like, that's like, there's
Never
probably not a
happened.
better casino tier than that.
Right.
And because they gave you your massage credit or your spa credit, they gave you your dining credit. Fontainebleau also gave you spa and dining credit. Right now, Venetian has a match on where you could match to Diamond from the Win Black or whatever, but you don't get any of the benefits, and it's
Yeah.
only for 3 months. So it's
I think I
it's
got $5 free play when I did it, but hey, I've got
I
the
got 15.
yeah, there you go. You won. You beat me. You beat me. So it was fun to
Yeah,
go over to and match that. And so I'm so excited to have built this relationship and look forward to having you on often and teaching everybody tricks and tricks. But I want to make sure everybody
absolutely.
knows where to find you and how to support you. I'm going to give the biggest tip is if you want real life response, join Miles Talk Facebook group. It is absolutely worth it. And the biggest tip I can give you from that is if you join that group, then you get a free ebook that Dave wrote. And it is, I printed mine out and then I ended up still buying the Amazon copy. So I have both.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So actually, we bought two. We have two hard copies and we both have your free version. But join Miles Talk group. There's a great book in there that Dave wrote. And you can ask questions, and there's a lot of members in there that can help you. But a big tip is find that acronym page because they use a lot of acronyms in there, and it is a little bit overwhelming if you're not doing this as a big hobby, right? Like almost a full-time
Yes.
job. So don't let
Yes.
that intimidate you. They don't mind newbie questions at all. So that's
Oh,
great.
and then in the pin post, we have a link to what are the all the acronyms mean.
Yes, and you do a great job, and so do other members of giving these real life updates as they happen. So
Yeah,
we don't know what's going to
what we
happen in
do.
25. We may have another win match, who knows, or even something better. So be on the
Yeah.
lookout, follow it there, and tell us where else we can find you.
So I'm on X, Threads, obviously Facebook, all at Miles Talk, and my other companion site is called Your Best Credit Cards. It's a great site for finding your best credit card. Lots of automated things to tailor it directly to you. Put in what you spend on. Put in features or benefits that you care about. We have free transfer bonus alerts. So if Amex is giving an extra 40% bonus to Virgin or Air France or something, we'll drop you an email if you sign up for the alerts. They're free. We do the same thing with credit card welcome bonus offers. If you're waiting for an offer to go up, we'll alert you. So lots of great resources with all of that. And but yeah, right on the Miles Talk Facebook group. Ask me questions anytime. We've also got other moderators that do a fantastic job, other great group members. We're, 43,000 members and growing
Yeah,
fast. So love to
growing
see everyone there.
growing really fast. So I highly recommend that. And I look forward to playing with your website, and then we're going to do a video. So y'all be on the lookout for that.
Absolutely.
give Dave some love and be sure and let him know that you saw him on our channel, and we'll have him back for questions and more interviews. So
Absolutely.
if you like what you saw,
Absolutely.
please like, share, and comment on the video below. It helps more than you would ever know. We appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Until next time.
Know anywhere to find you.